We've pieced our Floral Mini quilt. We've quilted it. Now let's go bind it. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. We've made our precious flower bouquet. And y'all, this would be adorable as a whole entire quilt with every piece or set of flowers being a different color. All pink, all purple, all blue, all orange, whatever you want to do. It would be gorgeous. This is our mini quilt. We've made it. Now we're going to put the binding on. So I started by measuring my quilt. I really didn't measure. I folded my fabric in half and made sure that it was longer than one side. And I know that'll get two sides. And I have two pieces. And this is another print from my collection. So the first thing I'm going to do is sew it end to end. I'm going to sew it just like this. There are lots of people out there that tell you you have to sew it on the bias, and if you want to, I want you to. I'm not sewing it on the bias. I don't cut it on the bias. It's just not that serious to me. But don't yell at me. If that's how you want to do it, that's exactly the way that I want you to do it. I'm going to sew mine. Just cut it straight. I'm going to sew it straight across. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop. All right, we've sewn it together. Now we're going to iron it. And after we iron it, we're going to put it on our little mini quilt. So I have this one really long piece now because I've sewn them end to end. I'm going to fold it in half long ways. So my strip was 2.5 inches wide by the length of whatever one side of my quilt is times 4 because mine's square. But measure your quilt and then decide. And if you're measuring it and going from that, make sure you leave yourself a few extra inches. All right, so we've sewn it together. We're going to fold it in half long ways and iron it just like this. This is my ironing situation. Heat resistant pad, wool mat, Oliso Mini Pro 3 iron. All linked in my Walmart and Amazon storefronts if you're looking for them. Now I'm just gonna iron this all the way down, the whole entire piece. I just folded it in half and we're gonna iron it so it's nice and flat and it will look like this. Okay, we've ironed it. Now let's put it on our quilt. Now I'm gonna bind this just like I would bind it if it were a big quilt. And if you wanna bind yours differently, that's exactly how I want you to do it. Okay, listen, I'm not the boss of you. I don't get to tell you what to do or how to sew. I'm just showing you the way that I do it. But if you have a different way, I love that. And I want you to do it that way. So I'm gonna take my binding and lay it on the edge of my quilt. And I'm going to start sewing. Let me get a clip so I can show you. I'm going to start sewing below this clip. So I'm going to leave this. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to start sewing down here. When I get down to this corner, I'm going to fold it out to the right, just like this, and back to the left when I get about right here. And I'm going to sew down to here, and I'm going to go down the other side, all the way around. Now, I'm coming to get you so I can put you next to my sewing machine so you can see. So I'm just going to straight stitch right here, back stitching when I start and when I stop all the way down this side until I get about 1.5 inches or 2 inches from the bottom. Now I'm going to take my binding. This is the raw edge side. I have all of my raw edges together. I'm going to fold this over and make a 45-degree angle just like this. And then I'm going to come back and fold it back over. So I went out to the right, straight out, just like this. And now I'm coming back to the left, just like this. So I'm going to sew down to here and I'm going to turn and I'm going to go down the other side. Who knew quilt binding would be so controversial? Every time I make a video, people yell at me. Okay, out to the right and back to the left, down to the corner and all the way around. Doing the same thing at each corner. But listen, I'm not the boss of you. I want you to do the binding exactly like you want to do it. I'm only showing you a super easy way to do it. The way that I was taught and the way that I teach my students. You do your binding like you want to, and I'll do mine like I want to. Now, I'm back to where I started. Let's make sure you can see this. This is where I started. Do you see this tail that I have right here? So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to cut this off. Just like that. Make sure you don't cut it too short, though, because that's terrible. And yes, I've done that more times than I will tell y'all, or else you'll stop letting me teach you how to sew. So now I'm going to open this, and I'm going to fold it under just like this. And then I'm going to put this one inside of it, and that gets rid of our raw edge. Do you see how pretty that is? Now we're just sewing until it meets right here where we started. So now we're going to take it out, and this is what you have, okay? So if you take your finger under here and you push it and you turn your quilt over, you get this really pretty mitered corner. Look at how gorgeous that is. So now we're just going to sew the other side of it. All right, so we've sewn it on the front. We've turned it over. We have this really pretty mitered corner. Now this time we're just going to sew close to this edge, all the way down. And I'll show you when we get to the next corner how to turn it and make it look so pretty. Okay, so we made it down here. Now, if you just take this next section and fold it up, sew to the corner, pick your needle up, pick your pressure foot up, turn your project, and sew just like this, sew to the next corner and back. You have the most beautiful binding ever. And you know what I love about this sewing community is that all of us can do things a little bit differently and still come out with beautiful projects. Just because you do something a non-traditional way doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's your way. And the only rule that I have when I sew is that it has to make me happy. So you do what makes you happy. That's what this is supposed to be about anyway. Because sewing is creating, and creating is supposed to be fun. Here's our finished mini quilt. Dun, dun, dun. Now let me show you the binding. Bum, bum, bum. So the way I just showed you how to do it, your binding does not show on the front at all. It only shows on the back. But if you wanted it to show on the front, you would just start your binding on the back and turn it over to the front, where I started it on the front and turned it over to the back. Okay, so we have pieced our mini quilt, we've quilted our mini quilt, and now we've done our binding. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.